morning, friends. How are you today? You know what day it is. Rune Casting Wednesday. We do it every Wednesday now. It's going to be a thing moving forward. How did you find yesterday? I knew yesterday's tarot reading was not going to be very popular. I was fully prepared for that. The thing to remember is if you missed it yesterday, it's still there. You can go and have a look at it. Maybe it'll make sense of yesterday. Because if you spent yesterday thinking, why is this happening to me? The key thing to remember was that it was not happening to you. It was happening for you. And that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give. One really terribly sad thing did happen yesterday. And I want to talk about it for a minute. Comedian Norm Mcdonald passed away yesterday from cancer. Apparently, not even his family knew that he had it. Norm spent 9 years battling cancer. And throughout those 9 years, he still kept us laughing. He still did his podcast. He was still all over the place. And the movie Dirty Work was among my favorite comedies. We here are deeply saddened by Norm's passing. And I have candles currently lit on my altar to light his way home. Now, with that out of the way, I would like to say that I think of Norm as a pure warrior, and it is my sincerest hope that on the day of Ragnarok he is looking at Thor going, "Hey, have you ever noticed that Jormungand looks a little bit like a cock? And Thor's over there beating it." Sort of throwing that out there to provide a little smile in an otherwise dark situation. Either that or he's going to start making jokes about me, and he is free to do that. I can take it, trust me. Anyway, let's say we get down to the runes today. You know what I'm going to do today? I am actually going to let the guides pick. So, first question is, who is our guide? And the second question is, what will they choose for us today? Our guide today is money. And we know from before that money does have messages for us. Sometimes they're blunt, they're brutal. A little bit like Norm at times. He could be very blunt and very brutal. But it was all in good fun. With Monty, he's a little more serious. He is being chased by a wolf, so he's pulling over long enough to tell us, "I don't have a lot of time, kid. Get in the fucking chariot." So let's see what message Monty has to bring us today. Man, my allergies have been kicking my ass. I don't know why. Who stirred the pollen up? I'm really going to have to pop an allergy med or two. So, that's exactly what Monty's telling us is there's very little time. Make good use of it. Norm did find that out. So, time is short, time is precious. We need to learn how to manage our time, don't we? And I think what do you say we do, See about the spreads here. I think they only have like 2 or 3 in here. So how about this? We are going to do, using our time wisely here, we are going to do our past, present, and future, just like we always do. But this time, it's just going to be the runes. So, 9 cards for 9 worlds. We're going to do it. Let's do this. Alright, so in our past, we have our past, which is Wunyo. These are our joys. They are the signposts to our life. So we do have joy and victory in our past. And what are its influences? We have Isa and Gabo. Okay, so in your past, you've had victories in the past. Okay, yesterday we had a very terrible looking reading. I mean, things were looking pretty bad, but remember, you cannot make an omelet without breaking eggs. You cannot forge swords or knives without first exposing the steel to extreme temperatures, to beating, to grinding, to polishing, to doing all this stuff. Steel is not comfortable during that time, is it? But when it comes out on the other end, it has a fine edge. It makes a wonderful tool that you can rely on. And if done well, it can even be a work of art that you can appreciate. For that, we have Wunyo to thank. But it had to go through that. It had to go through these obstacles. It had to go through that ice. It had to find a way around or break through. And then, those moments, it wasn't the victories themselves, but it was the lessons, the gifts that were given to you, the gifts that you were naturally born with, that made those victories what they are. So what about your present? We have Arcano, we have Perthro, and we have Sowulo, which is indicative of the sun. Now, with Berkano is all about healing. So old wounds do need to heal. And we do need to make sure that we don't reopen them. But that doesn't mean avoiding every situation that would create a new one. See what I mean? Now with Perthro, that is chance. Again, you've kind of been here before. You know what you're looking at. This is going to be taking that chance. Right now, when Perthro comes up, taking a chance means that you're rolling the dice on this issue, because that is the dice cup here. When you roll the dice on this issue, it's fine, because luck is on your side, and it's indicated by the Sowulo here, which is letting you know, it's asking you to consider whether or not you're true to yourself, whether you're following your true paths. Are you living according to someone else's standard, or are you living according to your own? And whether or not you're living to someone else's standard or your own, is it right for you? Listen, my values, my standards, they may not be yours. That's why whenever I tell you on that spiritual level, whatever that looks like to you. Some of you don't follow the same path I do. Some of you are like, I'm using this weekend to delve into scripture. Hey, great. I'm good with that, because it doesn't threaten me. And those of you who say things like that in my comment section are obviously not threatened by my own religion. So our paths will take us where we're needed to be taken. But if our paths are destructive, whether self-destructive or outwardly destructive or both, they're probably not the right paths. What you have to do is you're going to have to take chances. You're going to have to let go of some of this past stuff here. Take a chance on that new. Take a chance on the healing and kind of let some of those old wounds heal. That's in your present. So what about your future? Well, I can't tell you what the future holds, but I can give you a little insight. Let's keep in mind the goddess Frigg. It is said she sees all, knows all, and says nothing. She chooses to let us make our own decisions, for good or ill. So we have Tevaz. Obviously, we got some balance and justice in our future, which is great. And then we have Dagaz, and we have Thurasaz. Okay, I can tell you there's a little trouble up ahead. So Dagaz, though, Dagaz is always a great card to come up. Which Tewaz, that'll tell you right there. You got some justice headed your way. You know, if things have been out of balance for a while, yeah, things are about to shift, and you do need that balance. But you're protected. And this is the thing. Dagaz is a rune that says good things have arrived or are coming soon. This is the rune of the miracle of dawn, the coming of the day, the first rays of sunlight. So Willow, after a frightening storm. It's first gentle happiness after a period of grieving. Understanding that we could choose pleasure after a period of sacrifice. It is relief after much hard work. It's also protective. It enhances happiness by warding off anything that may challenge that happy state. It is useful in dispelling depression, inducing hope, and bringing forth a balanced mind and body. Dagaz was painted in yellow on the doorways of halls, where happy events were held, ensuring that only the good times would be had, but that the people within would be protected from harm while enjoying themselves. And then we have Thurasaz. Thurasaz has been, I think Thurasaz kind of gets a bad rap. I really do. And this rune is often referred to as the thorn. So like I said, I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap. And here's why. Because a hammer, we're talking about the first runic letter of Thor's name here. So with Thor, you can actually see, I think that's back there. Yeah. Looks like it to me. If you look right here, it kind of looks like Mjolnir is just kind of hanging in the background, doesn't it? Like we just kind of got a little piece of it. Now it's said when you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And it can be easily misconstrued as that dull brute force of a weapon. But in this case, it's used to smash small-mindedness, ignorance, as well as clear away untruth. There's a solidity that this rune requires, an acknowledgement that we have the wisdom and tools that we need within us, that we do not always have to look outside for validity. Does that make sense? So this gives us the confidence to break through these forms of fear. So definitely remember, remove the old thorn in your side. Choose wisdom. choose that positive flow. Choose that positive flow of enthusiasm and passion rather than aggression, small-mindedness, and force. So, we can go with this. Obviously, there was some happiness in your past. There were lessons. There was a mix there of your gifts mixed with those that you found once you broke through that ice. Translate those to today. Heal those old wounds. Do whatever you have to do. Mend some old bridges that you might have damaged. And see if you can't rebuild the ones that you've burnt. Take a chance. Know that you're on the right path. You're going to get that balance. You're going to get that justice. Don't worry about it. You are protected. Just remember, don't get drawn into drama that's unnecessary. It's very simple. Remove that old thorn from your side. So, with that being said, I hope this resonated with you. I hope that you enjoyed this. This was a much better reading than yesterday. Great advice from Monty. Monty has been extremely gentle as of late, and for that I thank him. As for you, know that I appreciate every single one of you who shows up today. Know that I'm always happy to have you visiting. Know that I'm always happy visiting with you. Try to take care of yourselves and each other today. Do what lights you up, and as always, my friends, shine on. That was really delicious, by the way.